Hi everyone, my name is Natalie. So today I wanted to do a talk about the Wainwright Longlist being announced. Today is actually the World Environment Day or Earth Day. Apparently I did not know that, but I do now. And the longlist for the Wainwright Prize was announced earlier today. This morning in fact, and I was eagerly anticipating it and have already made orders for all of the books. And basically today I wanted to talk about my reading plans for basically to follow the long list this year. I will first of all talk about the prize itself. So the Wainwright Prize is sponsored by Wainwright Golden Beer and is in association with the National Trust. It is rewarded to nature and outdoors and travel writing based in the UK. Previous years I've mostly seen non-fiction books in the long list and short list, but this year we have a few oddities. Last year I read through the short list of the Wainwright Prize. I will link my playlist with all of the reviews that I did for each of the books. I did a video review, but I found it a very rewarding experience to be following a prize that closely, and in particular reading about nature and travel, especially nature. Obviously that is my personal interests, and it was really interesting to have a list to follow and to be exposed in that way to titles that I might not have chosen myself. And so I was already keen on following the long list this year. So I have actually bought all of the books from the long list, and they are now just pending to be sent off to me. Hopefully it won't take too long, because I would really like to get started on reading the long list. But basically my reading plans for this year is to read all of the long listed books and make hopefully separate video reviews for each of the books. Let's talk briefly through the long list. I will basically be using the description that the prize itself has given the books. The first on the long list is The Easternmost House by Juliet Blaxland. It is a memoir, I think, about the author living in a crumbling cliff top on the east coast of Suffolk. The easternmost house will soon crumble into the sea. This book describes a year living on the edge, a meditation on nature, on coastal erosion, on impermanence, and on the changing seasons. Sounds fantastic, and it really reminds me of the book that I'm currently reading, which is called Waterfalls of Stars, where the author lives on the island of Skoma, and the house that they live on is also placed on the edge of the cliff. The next one is Ghost Trees by Bob Gilbert, and this is described as tells the secrets and stories of the urban wildscape of glorious nature, resilient and resurgent on our very doorsteps. Seems like there's always a few of these titles that have the urban focus that definitely had, like last year we had Outskirts, for example, something with a very I guess relatable kind of nature to a lot of people. The next one is How to Catch a Mole by Mark Hamer, and this is actually one of the ones that I had on my radar before seeing the long list, which I'm excited to see it here. It's called A Life-Affirming Book about the British countryside, the cycle of nature, solitude and contentment, through the prism of a brilliant new nature writer's experience working as a traditional mole catcher and why he gave it up. So obviously it has an animal focus, which is always something that I love in nature writing, so I'm expecting that I will really like that one. The next one is called Landfill by Tim D, and it is described as a nature book for our times. Without nostalgia or eulogy, it kicks beneath the littered surface of things to discover strange truths. This is one of the ones that I'm not sure what it's actually about, so I guess I will find out when I read it. But I feel like I remember the author's name in connection with Bird Books. So we shall see how I feel about that one. The next one is Lanny by Max Porter. Chimerical? Audacious, strange and wonderful, a song to difference and imagination, to friendship, youth and love. Lanny is dazzlingly good. says Robert McFarlane apparently. This is again one I've had my eye on for a while, especially because Max Porter is really popular for his previous book. So I am looking forward to reading that one, and I think that will probably be where I start off actually. The next on the list is Our Place by Mark Cocker. Again, an author whose name I recognize from previous long lists and just in general for nature writing. The description says, is a radical examination of Britain's relationship with the land by one of our greatest nature writers. So it seems to be this, the focal point of the relationship between nature and people, which is always something that I enjoy having explored in books. The next one is Out of the Woods by Luke Turner, which is a memoir about the irresistible yet double-edged potency of the forest and the possibility of learning to find peace in the grey areas of life. I've seen this on around lately, and I think it's also about the Luke Turner's sexuality and sort of his finding solace in nature, which is again themes that I really enjoy in nature writing, so I'm excited for that one. And the next one is more of an unusual type in the long list sort of setup so far. It's called The Stopping Places by Damien Labaz. In a bid to better understand his heritage, Damien sets out on a journey to discover the stopping places, the old encampment sites known only to travelers. So obviously it has much more a central travel writing aspect rather than most of the titles on the long list that have more of the nature and outdoors themes. And the subtitle for this book is A Journey Through Gypsy Britain. So it's definitely going to be a new kind of topic for me to explore through books. The next one is called Thinking on My Feet by Kate Humble. Thinking on My Feet tells the story of Kate's walking year, shining a light on the benefits of this simple activity. Again, I feel like this is a trend I've been seeing in nature writing or nature memoir kind of things, where there's activity at the center of it, and especially walking, how that is a way to engage with the physical world around us, and especially the natural world. So I have a feeling I will like this one as well. The next one is more of a strange one. It's called Time Song by Julia Blackburn. The description says, told through stories and songs, Time Song is a spellbinding journey in search of this lost land by one of Britain's most original writers. So it said is told through stories and songs, so I really don't know what to expect out of this. And one of the other descriptions I saw of this, it was sort of using things like I think paleontology and like fossils as some of the themes in it. So I'm intrigued because obviously fossils is something that I've been getting more interested in lately. Next is Underland by Robert McFarlane. Definitely one of the ones that I am most excited to see here, because I thought this was outside of the publishing time span. Obviously it isn't, since it's on the long list, but Robert McFarlane is definitely a really popular nature writer, especially British nature writer, and he's one of the ones that I haven't actually read, but I have landmarks that I've recently bought by him. But this one is about a dazzling journey into the concealed geographies of the ground beneath our feet, the hidden regions beneath the visible surfaces of the world. It also has one of the most stunning covers I've seen in general, and definitely in terms of books published this year. The next one is probably the one that I am most excited for, and is called Wild Women Swimming by Lynn Roper. It's described as West Country paramedic Lynn Roper began swimming outdoors after recovering from breast cancer. For the next 5 years until her death, Lynn kept a journal of her adventures in over 60 places across Dartmoor and the Devon coasts. This is a book for walkers, nature lovers, and wild swimmers alike. So from what I can gather, this has been published posthumously. So it seems like it has an interesting backstory as well. The thing that attracts me to it is obviously the swimming theme. I am currently reading a book about swimming, and I feel like I definitely will like this one because it has the combination of the outdoors and nature, as well as a very strong connection to swimming specifically. So I am very intrigued by this one, and it will probably be one of the first ones I get to. And the last one on the long list is called Wilding by Isabella Tree. Again, one of the ones that I recognized and had my eye on before the long list was announced. Part gripping memoir, part fascinating account of the ecology of our countryside, Wilding is above all an inspiring story of hope. Again, it seems like it is sort of examining the relationship between humans and the natural world, and possibly also some of the problems in our relationship and what we need to change to make that relationship more sustainable. So it seems like it is a very interesting and mixed kind of long list, and I'm very excited to get to it. So let me know if you have read any of these books, or if you're interested in reading any of the books on the long list for the Wainwright 2019. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.